Hi everyone. About 2 weeks ago I did a video on Mario Bava film, Barren Blood, part of my October 2022 horror films from 1972. And I received a nice comment and request in the comment section from Vodka Amas. And the comment went, "I would love to see you review Bava's Lisa and the Devil, as it was the only film where Bava was given free rein and he considered it his masterpiece." So again, thanks so much for that comment and request. So here goes. Here's Lisa and the Devil. I wanted to get this in during the month of October, which I'm doing a whole series of horror films, primarily from '72. Lisa and the Devil is from 1974. And it is a remarkable film. It's a moody, atmospheric dreamscape. It concerns a young woman who is, we see her getting off a tourist bus with her friend. They go to look at a fresco. The tour guide is explaining the fresco, and part of the fresco is an image of the devil, which Lisa evidently has seen a likeness of in the crowd. And she spots him in an antique store, and she becomes very frightened because he is a very strange man, and she sees him clearly as the devil in the fresco. But when she leaves the antique store, she is frightened, and she gets totally lost. And now she is wandering these deserted alleyways of Toledo, Spain. This is a film set in Spain. And when she does meet people, they look at her like she's a ghost, like she doesn't even exist. Eventually, she gets involved in two storylines. Nighttime comes. She is picked up, given aid by a very rich man in a beautiful big car. He has a much younger wife. He has a chauffeur, and we quickly get a sense that this is some sort of love triangle here. And the second storyline is eerily reflective of this first one. The car breaks down. They're outside this mansion, very gothic, big iron gates. Who comes to greet them? The butler. Who is the butler? The same man that Lisa has seen in the antique store. And there's a countess living there with her son. The countess does not want it. Send them away, send them away. But the son says, no, we're over here alone. Let us bring them in. And of course, we're being brought into a sort of a vision of hell, a version of hell, a vision of hell, where bloody family secrets of this dysfunctional family living in this mansion now comes into play with this love triangle, and with a very frightened and a very confused Lisa. The devil is played by Telly Savalas. For all it's worth, this is the entertainment part of the film. Is Telly Savalas' performance. He's as a butler, he's polite. He's very formal, but he has this devilish twinkle in his eye. Very macabre sense of humor. He always, below the humor and below the politeness, there's a demon lurking. And this is a butler who's constantly sucking on lollipops. Sound familiar? There's a good bit of Kojak here. I think this is the last film that Telly Savalas made in Europe. He was making several films in Europe during this time period. Before he went back to the U.S. and had a very successful television show. I kept waiting for the butler to say, "Who loves you, baby?" It would have fit. So now we have Lisa with these two storylines, this adulterous situation, also a mansion that is decaying. We watch her run through the alleyways of Toledo in the city. Now we see her running up and down these hallways, these dark, decaying hallways, and then she would come into a room, brightly lit room. Who would be there? Of course, the butler, and some other bodies as well. And and Lisa is played by Elke Sommer. Now, she had played in Bear and Blood, this other Mario Bava film that I discussed a couple weeks ago, and she's beautiful, and she's very good at looking frightened, and most particularly confused. So she's sort of a stand-in for the audience, because it's difficult to figure out what's going on as far as the storyline where Lisa fits into this story. The son of this Countess seems to think it's his long-lost love. And the son is played by Alessa Orano. Is she my lost love? Is she the reincarnation of Helen, my lost love? He and Elke Sommer have a remarkable scene together. I mean, it's really remarkable. The chauffeur is played by Gabriele Tinti, and the object of his desire, he being the object of her desire, is played by the extraordinarily beautiful Silva Cucina. So they're all trapped. There's no escape. This is a hell. There's no escape for Lisa. The cinematography here is fantastic. There's a cinematographer credited, but I suspect that Bava is responsible for the lighting. The nighttime scenes in Lisa and also in Bear and Blood, where Elke Sommer is also on the run in the nighttime, are just so gorgeously lit. I mean, it's maybe some of the most beautiful nighttime scenes I've ever seen shot. And it's so conveying all the eeriness, the atmosphere, also enhanced by a really good score by Carlo Savini. There's quiet hints of Ennio Morricone. It's hard to listen to any Italian score for a movie that you don't hear hints of Ennio Morricone, but there's some beautiful moments that really enhance this atmosphere that the film conveys. Now, I got to admit, not being the greatest horror fan in the world, and we know, it's a horror film, but these scenes that probably confuse the mainstream audience, these scenes are just so beautiful, the confusion, and we can't figure out what these relationships are, who exactly is who's laying in this bed, who's doing this over here. What are all these mannequins doing? This is a butler obsessed with mannequins, lifelike looking mannequins. And so, I mean, I can see how the film, it never even got released. It was shown at the Cannes Film Festival. It got some positive notices there, but no distributor wanted to pick it up. Eventually, I think it was shown in Spain, but it was never released. Lisa and the Devil was never released in Italy. And it's really amazing to me that nobody wanted to pick this up, because, there's some significant scenes of horror for horror fans. Mario Bava, was the name by 1974. But a couple of years later, and as befits the comment that Mario Bava was allowed to do whatever he wanted to do here. This is from producer Alfredo Leone, who also produced Bear and Blood, very big admirer of Bava, and said, I want you to just do a film that you really want to do. Do it your way. I won't interfere. I'll try to get you all the money you need. So you can imagine for Mario Bava, this total disregard for his film must have hit really hard because this was his dream project. So 2 years later, this producer, Alfredo Leone, decided he would try to salvage what he could. He saw the enormous grosses for the Exorcist, and he figured, well, I'll take a good bit of Lisa and the Devil, and I'll surround it with another story of an exorcism. He hired Robert Alda, Alan Alda's father, to play a priest in the version of, in this new version, Lisa, Elke Sommer, who was brought back she would be possessed and he would be exorcising. And that's kind of like this kind of story that harkens back to the original story of Lisa and the Devil. And Elke Summer would be spouting vomit out of her mouth, frogs out of her mouth, and more explicit nudity, sex scenes. Mario Bava didn't like explicit sex scenes and nudity in and of itself. And the film got released. Alfredo Leone was able to, from a write-off, a total write-off, he actually was able to make money with this. Bava didn't want to participate. In the end, he agreed to do it along with his son. His son, it was the assistant director on Lisa and the Devil. And it's kind of who got the director credit. Bava, once it was successful, Bava wasn't all that displeased by it. At least some money came in for his efforts. And there's an Arrow version of this film, Region B version. I don't know if it's still available, but it has both versions. And the second version was called The House of Exorcism. And Kino Lorber, and I'm pretty sure this is out of print, also released maybe 10 years ago, they released a two-film Lisa and the Devil and The House of Exorcism. I would like to see it. After reading so much about it, I would like to see it. I think it may be streaming. This bastardized version of Lisa and the Devil. Some people think it's a lot of fun. But I would love to see what they actually did with it. And I also came across the Mario Bava website, which included a lot of his biography and quotations. And I think Mario Bava was probably the most self-deprecating director I've ever come across. He says, great film directors are geniuses. I'm no genius. And at one point, he was encouraged to remake, I think it was Black Sunday, the movie he made in black and white, remake it in the later 70s, I guess, and remake it in color. So he and his son went back to look at the film, and Bava says, we just laughed at it. I mean, it's so ridiculous. He says, you want me to remake this? It never came to fruition. I think it's fair to say that Mario Bava may have underestimated his directorial abilities. He might not have been a genius, but he certainly made some good movies. But as a cinematographer, I mean, his talent is prodigious. I mean, the two films, Bear and Blood and Lisa and the Devil, are just gorgeous films to look at. I mean, I sat there, even if I didn't understand what was going on, I just sat there enraptured by the whole way the film was lit. So that's my response. That's my discussion of Lisa and the Devil. I hope Vodka Mas is pleased with this. I was certainly pleased with the question. Thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen. I do appreciate it. Comments are welcome. Take care.